What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium. Thank you so much for watching my entire MCU video collection. I do appreciate it. If you liked it, remember to comment, remember to subscribe to the channel, remember to like, all that good stuff so I can get more views. It's almost Avengers Endgame time. This is going to post on Wednesday, so it's literally like the next day to the weekend. But I wanted to do a top 10 list, which I don't usually do. They're never my cup of tea, but because I did all these videos, because I spent so much time in the MCU, I wanted to talk about my favorite characters in the MCU, the ones that had the most impact to me, that I felt were the most overall rounding characters. And there are so many characters in the MCU that it is really hard to really come up with a top 10 list. I mean, everybody's going to have their own different top 10 lists. You know, some people put Thanos in number one. Some people put Iron Man number one. Some people won't put Iron Man in the top 10 because they don't like Iron Man. It's that type of scenario. But I just wanted to give my opinion on what the top 10 MCU characters are. I do have a couple honorable mentions, but I just wanted to give you my overall thoughts on how I feel the overall arcing situation of the MCU was. And this one, as my honorable mentions, it's probably gonna make a lot of people mad because they would put these characters in their top 10, but everybody has their differencing of opinions, so there you go. But my honorable mentions are Gamora and Thanos. I can't really pick between the two because Gamora and Thanos are such a pair together that they work almost coexisting with each other. And I know a lot of people would put Thanos in the top 10. I think what he did to Gamora, what he did to Nebula, what he represents sometimes in the MCU is a little uncomfortable and disturbing. The abusive nature of who he is and how he treated those two people really doesn't sit well with me a lot of times. Yes, he makes a lot of sense with what he is talking about with getting rid of half the population. But the fact that he wins, the fact that he kills off Gamora, the fact that he treats Nebula like he does to get the Soul Stone, it's good for the Avengers Infinity War. I'm not going to discredit it, but it's not top 10 material to me. Doesn't make, I mean, it's still 12, so I mean we're still in the top 20. But Gamora is also would be my number 11. She is the emotional arc to the Guardians storyline and the MCU in whole, because she's the daughter of Thanos in essence until he killed her actual family. And she is just a powerful character played by Zoe Saldana, and she owns that role like she's done with Uhura, and she did with Neytiri in Avatar. And I can't not give her enough props about how good she is as Gamora. To see her die the way she did, it was just, I hope they bring her back, but if she doesn't, it's gonna be sad to see it. So that's a sad way to go, but that's my honorable mentions. So we'll go ahead and hit the number 10, which is... So, number 10 is Adrian Toomes, played by Michael Keaton, who, of course, is Vulture. This is a character very different from the comics. He is a guy that has a family who he's trying to provide for. After all the issues after the Battle of New York, and he gets screwed over by Tony Stark's people, he goes on a quest to basically provide for his family by stealing tech, creating tech to sell on the black market. And he has a lot of... He's actually extremely smart in what he's doing in essence, because he is, once, like I said, he's an antagonist, but he's an anti-villain in ways, and he works really well with Peter Parker's character, and Michael Keaton just owns this role. We're in a renaissance of Michael Keaton with between this, Birdman and Spotlight, and there's just not much more you can say because he's so good in the role that he's playing, and the fact that they gave him some real depth really helps his character. So that's why he's number 10. But number 9 is we go to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love those movies. I think they're fun. They're a little overrated, they're a little overwrought sometimes, but one character specifically that came out of those two movies is Hope Van Dyne, who's played by Evangeline Lilly. And like Adrian Toomes, this is a character who has a lot to live for. She's very smart, she's headstrong, she kicks a lot of ass, and she's very good at what she does. And she puts Ant-Man, she puts her father, Hank Pym, in his place. She puts everybody in her place because she has a lot of emotional baggage that her father has caused her, and the fact that she lost her mom in the quantum realm. And I love what Evangeline Lilly's doing here. I think she's smart. I think she's fun. I think when she kicks ass, she really kicks ass, and she does a nice job. So that's why she's number 9 on my list. But number 8 is. So we go back to kick-ass women. Women in MCU are sometimes underutilized. I like what Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson. But Peggy Carter is kind of the linchpin of the Captain America series. I don't really like what they did with Agent 13 and Captain America later on, but Peggy Carter is the heart to Captain America, Steve Rogers. I think what Haley Atwell did here in one movie and in the TV series is give somebody real range, real character motivation to give to someone. And when she dies, it's really actually very heartbreaking because she never got to be with Steve Rogers. And I hope if it plays out in an Endgame that she has some kind of closure to her character, because dying the way she did, she had a great life, but it really was been more impactful if it was with Steve Rogers. But she's really good in the role. It's a really great character. So, but number 7 is, so we go back to Captain America. Captain America has a lot of great characters in it, but Winter Soldier, of course, is my favorite movie in the MCU. It's a great movie, great overall arc about Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that good stuff. But Sam Wilson, who plays Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, is a fantastic character who's a war vet, who's helping people who have problems with mental issues being in wars. And it's just an amazing character that is given, like I said, with Peggy Carter and Hope Van Dyne, a lot of emotional arc. And Anthony Mackie plays it perfectly. This is a role perfectly suited for him, and he's great in the role. And just the way he helps out Steve Rogers, the way he helps out the Avengers, everything about him just clicks, and it just clicks so well when Steve goes to the vet center, and he sees what Anthony Mackie is doing or what Sam Wilson is doing, and it's just such a good character and such a fantastic look at Steve Rogers and his world and what Sam Wilson is doing and how vets can be helped in the right ways. So, but number 6 is, so we go back to Spider-Man Homecoming or Spider-Man Far From Home, whatever you want to talk about, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War, all that good stuff. I think Tom Holland rules as Peter Parker. I think he is the best Peter Parker. I thought, when you look at, Andrew Garfield and when you look at Tobey Maguire, they're good halves of the Peter Parker character, but Tom Holland is the real deal. He's the 100% arc of what Peter Parker is. He's smart, he's nebbish, he's funny, he has a lot of good quips, he's in love with certain characters, he is great as Spider-Man, and he just overall weirdness to him and the nerdiness to him, and just the fact that he fits so well into the series and what Tom Holland is able to do with the character is it's a fantastic character, and he does so much good stuff with it, and I just love Tom Holland in this role. I think it's perfect. And I hope, I like the Into the Spider-Verse, Shamik Moore, Miles Morales character, but it's so good. It's so good what Peter Parker is doing, what Tom Holland is doing, and his stuff behind the scenes on Instagram and Twitter. It's really funny to watch, when he messed up with the spoilers and all that good stuff. So that is my number 6. So number 5 is a character that brought into the MCU in a powerful way, and that is Tom Hiddleston's Loki. If you really think about it, he's the first real great character as a villain with an emotional arc that he has. Tom Hiddleston as Loki just rules in this movie, in all the MCU movies that he's in. Yes, he gets a little rote later on, but Tom Hiddleston was doing something different here. He was doing something on a different level. He was funny. He was charming. He was the mischievous guy that he was. He really screwed over the Avengers, but then he had his redemption arc in Avengers Infinity War. And just Tom Hiddleston this is like Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. It's the perfect casting at the right time. To see him come out of San Diego Comic-Con as Loki is fantastic. And the fact that he was the villain in Avengers, the original Avengers movie, and to see him kind of just a centerpiece for what the Thor is going through, it's great and it's fantastic, and I love this character, and that's why he's at number 5. So, but number 4 is, so Paul Bettany's been around since the original Iron Man. He played Jarvis, the computer program that that was part of Iron Man, Tony Stark's character. He was very dry, witty. He's very Paul Bettany-ish. Paul Bettany's a great character actor. If you've ever seen A Knight's Tale or A Beautiful Mind or anything that Paul Bettany's ever been in, he's a fantastic actor that because of his what he was going through, where he almost was kicked out of Hollywood for not even his own fault, and then when they gave him the Vision character, that kind of brought him back into the mainstream. But Vision is one of the most he's one of the saddest characters because you know what's going to happen to him. You know, once Thanos gets starts searching for the Infinity Stones, that because Vision has the Mind Stone or the Mind Stone in his head, that is going to come back and he's going to die. I mean, it was unfortunate that the way it played out, but I think Paul Bettany as Jarvis and eventually as Vision is just pitch perfect. He's fun. He is very, he's very computerish, but he starts to become human. And it just was nice to see Paul Bettany take on this role and deliver such an emotionally charismatic character. And a guy, a computer program or an android or whatever you want to call him, a droid, robot, whatever, who learns so well and learns how to be human and learns and does it really, really excitedly. And just to see him die the way he did was emotional. And that's why he's so high on the list, because he's such an integral part of the MCU. So, but number 3 is, so this one is really gonna I don't know if it's gonna make people mad. Maybe not. Who knows? You might put him higher on the list. You might put him lower. But this whole MCU hinges on one guy, and there's a reason for that guy, and it's because of Jon Favreau. It's not Happy Hogan. I'm sorry, I was just joking. But this whole series hinges on Tony Stark's character because of what happened in Iron Man, because of how successful it was, because of how charismatic Robert Downey Jr. was. He kind of like became this surrogate for the MCU in general, and he is really good in these movies. He is about as good as you can get, besides one other character that I like a little bit more. But he's cynical. He is, he's like Peter Parker, where he makes a lot of quips. He's very just out there and interesting. And when he plays Iron Man, the fact that he reveals that he's Iron Man puts a lot of people in danger. And then just to see his arc play out from a playboy who doesn't really give a crap about people to him trying to save people, to him trying to save the world, and everything that plays out between him and Steve Rogers. And just Robert Downey Jr. should be given all the praise in the world, because he's just how good of an actor he has become or has been. And yeah, he is. There's not much more you can say about Robert Downey Jr. that hasn't been said, but him as Tony Stark, like I said, once again, is like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. There's no other perfect casting, and it's gonna be really hard to replace Robert Downey Jr. later on, because he's just such a good character for what he is. So, but that's number 3. So for my number 2, I could have put Tony Stark as number 2 because that would have made sense. But there's a character that is so much more intense and interesting than Tony Stark will ever be, and that's Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger. There has never been a better villain in the MCU. Killmonger or Michael B. Jordan is going to go down as one of the greatest villains in movie history in general. What happened to Killmonger, how his character plays out, how emotionally resonant it is when he dies, and to see T'Challa react the way he does, the fact that he is so angry about what T'Chaka did to his father, which was his brother, and just to see how emotionally resonant and powerful Michael B. Jordan was in this character, in this role, it can't be understated how good he is in this movie. He should have gotten an Oscar nomination. That's how good he is. And there's one other character above him, but Killmonger's just, it's an intense role, and it's something that affected Michael B. Jordan after the movie was filmed. And there's a reason for that, because when you look at stuff like Heath Ledger's The Joker, how much he invested in his soul into that role. And then Michael B. Jordan's doing the same thing here. Ryan Coogler has created something unique, and Michael B. Jordan has just levitated that to some different sphere. And that's why he's so good. And that's why he's so integral to the role he was in, even though he was only in one movie. But he's so good as Killmonger. So, but we finally got to it. We got to number 1. I don't know if you're going to guess it, but we'll go ahead and do it now. Number 1 is... So I debated this number 1 a lot. But when I watch the MCU, there's one character, there's one actor that just mesmerizes me every time I watch it. And that is Steve Rogers or Chris Evans. You guys, think about this. Chris Evans had done comedies. He had done The Human Torch, which he was fine in. He does cellular and stuff like that. But Steve Rogers is the linchpin of the Avengers, of the MCU. His arc from, you know, the guy that wanted to do everything he could for his country to being the guy that took down Hydra and Shield to the guy that, you know, lost everything in Avengers Infinity War to just his overarching arc to his character. There's never been a character that has so much emotional range and impact of a guy who is just representative of what the ideal American is. And when he becomes Captain America, and when he fights Red Skull, and when he fights, you know, Alexander Pierce, and when he fights Iron Man because of his beliefs, he is almost on the right side of the overarching issue with the MCU, which is, are superheroes right? Are they wrong? Is what Captain America is doing right? Is what Iron Man is doing right? And I just love what Chris Evans has done here. Everything about him is just pitch perfect, note perfect. He is just the embodiment of everything right. And I love his character. I've loved Captain America a long time. And to see Chris Evans just nail this character and just to see what he does and just to see how he plays this character out, it's so good. It's so impressive. And, you know, just when Peggy Carter dies and you see how that plays out with Steve Rogers, how much it breaks his heart to see what's happening. And then when he gets his friend Sam Wilson, and when he loses his everything at the end of Avengers Infinity War, there's no character better to me personally than Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Chris Evans. It's an emotionally impacting character. And like I said, you could switch Killmonger and Steve Rogers, but I think Steve Rogers is more important to the overall arching arc of the MCU. So that'll do it. That's my top 10. I know a lot of you guys probably disagree with it. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. But that's how I feel on my top 10. You know, this will conclude the MCU up to Avengers Endgame. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet up to this point, but when I do, you'll get my review for it. But tell me what your top 10 list is. I'd be interested to know. Where would you put these characters? Would you put other characters in the top 10? How do you feel this list played out for you? So on and so forth. So tell me in the comments below. As always, like I said, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. You know, check out my other videos. Check out my 22 other MCU videos that I did for the past few weeks now. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace out. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out Movie Emporium. I really appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button and the bell at the top. Find out what's coming next for Movie Emporium. Also, check out these two videos. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. I think you'll enjoy them too. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.